is awkward. It's almost this afternoon and it's 12 p.m. So I went to the 10:30 a.m. on a Mass today. It's pretty great. Celebration Lutheran Church is very good. So it's because every day. So I didn't make it for the walk in about 3 weeks ago because I decided to be walking around at about 270 calories per day. That's where to lose my stomach is. So losing my fat, losing the visible subcutaneous fat. That's what a Greg Platt says. Here is rest in peace in the last 2 years. But he was struck into the train. He stuck into the train tracks and the train tracks in the station. The police investigated. He was totally a lot of things about the crime prevention on law and order. When Greg was passed away, he struggled into the train station. He didn't get up. He's 38 now. He mentioned about 40, but his birthday was about 1977. But the disease is everything. And what kind of man is this that's happened? So I don't actually what am I supposed to know. I literally just not. Yeah. That's just one of my reasons is. That's just when I'm here to hang out in the park here. So, it's everything questions. I can have it very enjoy it. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your sunshine. Enjoy your cloudy day. Sunshine should be coming in about 120 days in the May to August. We had no idea. No much idea. No idea. No more ideas in the stories. But I just got a tiny bit tired. I know. Hey there, mateys. This is Gary Scouts, a Pirates of the Caribbean film series here. Today is Sunday, March 12th, 2017. So, Alexander Daddario birthday on 4 more days. So, this is gonna be about Thursday. It's gonna be about Thursday. Beauty and the Beast coming out March 17th on Friday. Emma Watson, she's gonna be 27 this birthday on April. And Viva Rabbit on May 2nd. And Sam Claflin on June. It's gonna be 31st on 2.5 more months. So that's gonna have to sit down over there. We have to talk to you guys up. And in here, right here, my promise is today. I haven't actually forgotten about the action about miscellaneous in these movies. So it would be called the Disney movies and including Giant Bruckheimer films. And Sin Nelly here is gonna do music by composers here, and this is from Hans Zimmer for this is really gonna be great solitary, and with having the issues about the problems there, about the issues about the mysticals, everything's reaction. So it's gotta be the most problem there. So I came to understand this. When I think about the Emma Watson play as Belle was continually what she was playing for second characters as the Dan Stevens, as the Prince Adam, as Beast. He knows, but he looks at her staring the white light, the witch of a girl. The girl rose girl holds the red rose in her hand. She continually transforming him to their beast. And one of the things that the castle was, Alan Menken here was 26 years last, and this is very while ago. So my dad was he was 34. He was 34. Was it justify? He wasn't been in the crucified, and he supportedly was he's doing the Thanksgiving about the course about mid 1991s. My point is, when it did 26 years ago, when my dad was to the 34, he was back of younger. When I think about running time 88 minutes ago, when same as it about Paige O'Hara as first time she's about play Belle, was she's playing a woman there. I didn't never seen them once before, and Robbie Benson as the Beast, as transforming for back to the human as a prince, was spoiler alert. He looked to the church, to the Christ of the castles. There was a been about a year ago, from the mid 1580s. For the mistress is knows about where she at, and a lot of things. I feel like about the 2017 this year is about the musicals in the high schools and junior highs, elementaries, and college and universities, and their auditorium in the choir in the play was doing great motion animated film on the Priority and Beauty and the Beast. Was the same things ever with the same things we feel like, or we take it about the 1-2 same thing, and well, this is what are good enough. As no this is yes. I know what's the difficult things about my brother inspirations. But his plans was former. He lives in a little town thing to the castles, and Marie dislikes the castles, and he went down. He was chairman. He had a piano, and the piano eight-legged man was considering to arriving back to the Gaston's tavern was it a saying. His best friend Levon here was one of the guys in the tavern was playing Disney villains was consideration infiltrator was bad, and former his wife, and he betrayed her, but he was falling to death. He falls to death to the river, and he dies. And the beast let him to die, transformed for his human. The prince is back. He resurrected for this castle, but it's during the rain in the night. The same thing was fireworks. Same thing was most of the half of True Love's kiss. He was lighting up for fireworks, transforming it back to the statue with the human, and to servant. He was considerations about finale was the kiss each other was Beauty and the Prince from the Beast. Considerations about the celebration and the people, a lot of castles. Very most moments, if I forgot about the 10,000, about 1,200 people and around the court, and longest in their sunshine and the rises and celebrations, then he could be the one of these discovers things, or this is where we're gonna have to the mankind, and this is important. Those that we have here, and Lemire and the Cotsworth was every love of the Bell and Adam was every most humanity going to this married and engagement and having a child, and she was truly loved them, beloved those humans, beloved from the little town. The Bells gonna live. Bells belongs to the castle with Adam was. She's gonna be, and the child was welcome to his world. That's where it came. That's where the came point was. Finale in the Beauty and the Beast was tale or as at the time, as Alan McCann was been about musicals and composed about 26 years. And that's gonna be about new running time about 129 minutes. 29 minutes. The heroes remaining ones at about composers from Emma Watson. She was 27 years old over here, and she was composing to new by. She clearly is about the started about she loved them about Dan was loving for Emma was crushing for him, led by the special guest star for the Gourmet's World as Roland Blanchard. In the Bunk special guest stars the Rick is Sky Jackson, and one of the things to play as about Phineas the Verb was starter and behind the scenes and gag rags to bloopers, and sent it to the deleted scenes on May 5th. She's gonna teach him somehow it was communicated as the special features, plays, setup, and scene selections and subtitles and English. I kind of buy the love of most things about each other things, you know. So I have very most interesting in the love of those things. So you have to know where you're gonna react. One's gonna supposed to do something, and that means we decided to take it about the 41 minutes to more in about 26 years. As is drilling to do to make up for about and the $65 million in this year, and this is gonna be reactors in about the world's most beautiful life fantastic and life actions of movies for all time. To descend into DVDs and Blu-rays in 2002 and 2010. Now it's 2016. Those have really been a while ago. The next movie would be about this Disney and welcoming to the Jeremy Bruckheimer films of Gore Verbinski, Rob Marshall's, Hans Zimmer's, Klaus Belden, and Gio Sinelli, and here was the Johnny Depp guest star was Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. In the first appearance, no since July 7, 2003, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Was in the mid-1730s was a prologue when the young Elizabeth I was aborting for the HMS Dauntless, just arriving, moving to the 7 seas of the fog in this morning. For while when the Gale was talking to the pirates, before was it everything. He was tales about the pirates thing in the mid-1730s. I was thinking about most life at that times. For Norrington was consideration to seeing every most humanity ever if we'd taken everything about these stories. When the life actions, she was looking down there to the underwater there was a young man. There was a the drowning young man was. Laying under the wood thing was man overboard, captain's orders, and the net on it, and he was relating was who was just that happened there. The look into the straight on the fire ships was destroyed. Something was destroyed by the ghost in the ship. There's been a battle about mid-1730s, and this has been in the war a year ago. What after the size, this is why the fire ships under the water was destroyed, was sank, and a lot of crew just looking for the man inside the deck, and Will woke up, he gasped, but he certainly awaits, and he was taken up to the Aztec goal out of his neck. What Aztec was literally from the codex, a sort of a codex from Isla de Malta under the Spanish. He certainly for the treasure in the codex. When it seems looks about the pirate ship, was it the smoke, was it the black sails? It was the Jolly Rogers. It was the Jolly Roger on the pirate flag. He closes her eyes, and she opens in about 10 years ago for late 10 years now. Elizabeth Swann was awakes in the mid 1740s. When Elizabeth got addressed to love, his father, Governor Weatherly Swann, lives and ordered to the Port Royal under the British Royal Navy and the Royal Marines. In the port, in the fort, in the city and fortress, and everything will have to been arrive for the musician, arrive for the Port Royal's forge and the assembly. He seems William Turner was 20 years old. He same thing about every year ago. While the same thing was be a love of things. But he has a sort of a cutlass, saber, and as a service to the Governor Swan. And he seemed Elizabeth was a long time ago was after the same thing as he seems her about 10 years ago. But he says goodbye for Elizabeth before he was everything could help you for it. They're arriving for horse. They see about the capital on the Molly pirate, Captain Jack Sparrow, arrival for the Port Royal. He would seem to jump down there. There are a lot of these skeletons out of the dead man. That was a dead pirate. Everything what they have here. They're involved. They're sinking, leaking with water. He sank. He welcomes to the port. He says blacksmith. He could be do everything what they have here. All we think we know has to been and does matter. But Jack says, what is exactly the thing? And British says, welcome to the Port Royal, blacksmith. When the soldiers arrive with the assembly gathering the people and a lot of the Royal Marines, the same as about musical and the party and the fort. So one we have to think about the truly think about the loving those things about any about the human and the humanity as he hears things about the musical whole about the learning about the symbol things the use of the sword. He's walking down there into the interceptor. He made for the commentary by Malloy and Mutog. He sings about the dauntless He is talking about the Tales of the Black Pearl. As the name of about the mid-1720s and about a year ago. Jack Sparrow, same answer about the curse ship was every most notorious pirate in the cursed crews and about 100 of them. He knew whether to steal the ship. They'll get away from him. They'll get away from his ships. He was worried about the HMS and the Scepter he was steering into the ship. For Elizabeth and Commodore Norrington was walking down into the cliff, and the rocks was the same as the beach. Where she was breathing, but she can't breathe in it. When she can't take a breath, she would have to fall down the water. But they're hearing the splashing. But he looked to the right. Where is she? She was struggling. Say, Elizabeth, he yells. The lieutenants and the soldiers, they says the rocks. There's gonna happen. The reserves are gonna machinist. She's going down to the ocean floor. He says she can't swim. He can rescue her. And as the goal was hearing was shocky. It was a shock wave around the seven seas. It could be about terrifying. And the Norman flag was windy around the world. And he rescued for help. He was get her out for water. As she brings things, he says no. Certainly not. But he picks the gold. How she get that? But he captured him. But Norrington orders to the soldier he arrested for piracy. But Jack Sparrow was a tattooing for the East India Trading Company. Was in the mid-1720s. It was a company what I have to start it now. He was saying Commodore was underestimated for Jack Sparrow punch the chains on with his hands. He tries to choke on her. He is choking for her. And he tries almost choke to death. And Jack gives his orders for Commodore, give it his swords, his pistols, and Elizabeth he's given his hat, and he's pushing it. She's pushing her for them. He escaped for the port while into the port. A lot of Royal Marine was firing the musket for Jack, was escaping for chasing. And they tried to shot at the notorious pirate. Was commentarily it was do they know about any about what happens there. They're searching for Sparrow. They're going to the brig. There goes to Mr. Brown's farm inside the donkey. And Mr. Brown was asleep. But he can't hear him. But he said, "Whoa!" And he gets to the hammer. He gets to the hammer with a shave. He's trying to take the chains off. And he literally breaks the chains. But he stings the burns the donkey's footage is about right and the left back thighs was walking around with the chains. It was not going to take off. It's not going to take it out. There's something breaks and something cracking that opens the wood doors. There's some guys inside. The one that have the wheel turner is the blacksmith. He shot her head down. But he left it with his good friend. But he looked into his hat. he spanked with a sword, pointing at him. He was been about hunting a pirate, but he wouldn't say who is he, who is that guy. He pointed at his swords again. Fight for the Jack and Will fights. Ting ting ting. He continually took 3 minutes to fight, but he started walking away. He throws the sword to the wood doors. He breaks it, but he's not gonna lift up. It breaks about the 5 times. He went away with the sword was burned, but the shop was orange. His sword was commentarily allegedly was fighting to the duel was anything about the farm, anything about the top of it of the wood with roof was everything could be about to start it was, and now was accurately about interrogating by the ones. Even again on the 3rd time, I was about victoriously about the will from Jack was pointing at his pistols. He hits the bricks of the glass. Saved by Mr. Brown. They capture. It breaks the door. Norrington and Lieutenant Gilley and the soldiers was capturing for Jack Sparrow. He was taken away for the till of night in the prison. And the nightfall was everything. So that's just gonna be most of it, and most beautiful thing ever. Johnny Depp's on Pirates of the Caribbean first movie as Jack Sparrow's long stories. So who we are, so we could continue to see with 600 minutes of running time for Pirates of the Caribbean Dim and Telling the Tales of the Day. As the day is truth. Don't forget to watch it on Pirates of the Caribbean first, second, third, and fourth movie. Upcoming movie will be about May 26, 2017 on Pirates of the Caribbean 5th, Dim and Telling the Tales, as known as Salazar's Revenge, Revenge of a Salazar. Today is the day, and the Dim and Telling the Tales hunt for the Trident of Poseidon, the ocean of a whole thing into the water in the ocean floor, the communicating, and the Black Pearl, Queen Anne's Revenge, Flying Dutchman, Dying Gold, Silent Mary, and the unnamed British warship was remaining of the pirate ship was the mid-1720s. In the mid-1760s was 40 years ago. When the relationship was commentarily started was name of it and some wise. So I have a very gonna see every mostly humanity adjusting need to the standing was in appearances as it goes around there as we're gonna study as it goes has been about continually was mid-1760. Henry Turner was 20 years old. His mother and father, Will and Elizabeth, was living from Land of the Dead and retirement of a Port Royal thing. She is a pirate. He is captain of a Flying Dutchman, was a new captain in mid-1720s. So today is over today. So don't forget to subscribe to my content today. So follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, Events, Street Science, and Gaming Channels, Juggy Store, Elmwood, New Jersey, and Cock Story Talk. Timeline Hangout Center on the Play Stores. Follow links description of friends here on McJugger Nuggets, Big Butter, George Dahlbarger, Keep Behind the Camera, Bridget West, The Inky Grandpa's House, Grandpa's Corner, Pisaka Dad, Joe Bum, Larry's Lounge, Pisaka Mom, and Melissa, Pisaka Aunts, Pisaka Uncles, Manicorn, Crocodile Buzz, Juliet Riley, Wilma Edward Wings, Team Cree, Bull Squad, Reagan Dad, Tony Tornado as Crazy Boyfriend, Millie and Samantha, The Amanda Jean Show, Crazy No Love, Derek Diesel Daily, Cuba Guy, The Cuba Guy Life of Boo, The Moco, Spin Jam Garters, Cuba Guy, and Horrible Gamer, The Book Show here, The Book Show, Human TV, Joshua Authority, Xiaomi TV, Illegals, Nenegals, and Ben Phillips. Illegals and Ben Phillips here, and Illegals and Ben Phillips, we have to start it now. Alice Anna Larman, Logan Larman, Brittany T. Jackson, Lucas and Lindsay Larman, Douglas Smith, Levi Rambin, Jim Perrick, Jake Aba, Ali Wood, and Alexander Daddario here. Topic for Daddario Alexander today. Forever Alice Anna and Captain Justin and Van Farlander. And here, and there's where it's gonna be. Noma's here, we're doing having fun done about March 28th. Harry Calville, Serban Kensley, Stanley Tuxi, Nathan Fillion from Percy Jackson, back again about 5 years, and he never seen the 5 years ago. And Kevin Costner, Deanna Land, Amy Adams, Ben Affleck, and Lawrence Fishburne, and Michael Kelly here. Michael Kelly, the Angie Trial, and Michael Shannon, and John Bass, Zac Efron, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Kelly Whitbosh, Elvis Hadra, and Priyanka Chopra, and Triple H, Randy Orton, and John Cena. And love you guys, feel free to then. Don't forget to subscription today. Scott Eastwood, Joel Courtney, Will Smith, Margot Robbie, and Emma Watson. Here is Beauty and the Beast is Disney movies. So love you guys, feel free to death. Don't forget. So keep it rich, mateys. I will gonna have to do my videos about the night as soon as I can, as soon as I get home on the night. So keep it rich, mateys. Love you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Give up a blow kiss. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to go out from May 25th to 3rd, 2017 in this spring. Keep it rich, mateys.